Welcome back for a flight in X-Plane 11. Same flight as the previous two times. I'm adding more plugins as I go. This time I'm upping the ante quite a bit. I installed the Zibo mod 737-800. It is fantastic. It's got its quirks as usual. It's never 100% correct, but I'm just going to go into it and start a new flight. We'll customize. You got the option to have the scimitar wings, the ones from the new 737 MAX. We'll empty the center tank. By the way, the center tank is usually empty if the wings are not full. The wings usually get filled first and then the center tank gets some fuel. This is because the engines are underneath the wings, obviously, and they suck the fuel out of the left and the right wing if there are no pumps available. The center is basically like an overflow. First the wings get filled and then the center. All right, we go to SeaTac and we'll start with cargo 11. Same bit of wind to force us on the 16 right on at Painfield. We want to have a little bit of light so we can actually see things. So engines are not running and start flight. And as you can see, we are again. I'm going to go into this as quickly as possible because this mod is so big. There's so much you can change and do. I do not want this flight to be too long. I'd like to keep it under an hour, the whole thing from beginning to end. So let me just start by the plugins that you're going to need. I have 1/24 ATC installed. I tested that last time. It's not necessary for this mod, but I am using it this time, so I'm gonna at least select the frequency selector. AVITAB, better pushback, and terrain radar are recommended for this mod, and I will provide links in the description. Let's start with some power. Battery to on. Standby power is already in on as the switch is or as the cover is closed. And we go here, and I have not found this. I have flown 2 flights without knowing that this is here on the left side. These are all your settings and little bits of extras in the game or in this modification. I can start flight legs and flight legs. As far as I can tell, all that these 2 buttons do is make noise as if the plane is being loaded. There is also a switch to turn on passengers, show passengers. I have yet to see one, even opening that door behind me. Where is it? There, see. Anyway, let's close it. Have a little bit of privacy here. A PA system, you can do all your speeches and everything. Fuel balance, fuel weight and balance, fine, you know, it's here. Ground services though is what I need right now. I need to connect a GPU, and I can also set up my pushback. So let's do that. Pre-plan, and it's already set. It must have remembered my last time, which is very nice. But let's delete it and make it a little bit. So notice that it was a little there would be nice, just like that. It would be a nice pushback right here, right? And enter accept.
Cockpit, plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
Awesome. All right, so my pushback is all set. A couple of other settings that I do want to change and show. Let me see, how do I get back there? Home? No, settings and features. Display options. This is all just stuff that you can change as you need. You can have the split the scimitar wings, and you can have, as you can see, the SATCOM humps on the top, and here are the beautiful scimitar wings. But we'll leave it to blend it, and we don't need a SATCOM, right? It does show page 1 of 2, and for some reason I don't see a button to go to the next page. Not important right now. Realism, align time, I'll keep that short. Actually, no, I can keep that real because I need some setup anyway. Pause at top of descent. I guess you can, go have dinner or cook or whatever while the autopilot does all the flying, and then it pauses as it's at the top of descent, so you don't just keep flying when you're supposed to be doing something. I don't know why you would want that, quite honestly. I mean, just set the autopilot and go, I don't know, shopping or whatever. That doesn't make sense to me. Tire blown advanced, I don't know. Apparently you can blow your tires. I haven't done it yet. Yoke, and this is the important one. I'm going to switch this one off. In the real world, if you have your autopilot on and if you force the plane to do something that against the autopilot will disconnect. And that's a good thing. You don't want the autopilot to fight the pilot. Planes have crashed that way. But it is, if your joystick isn't calibrated just so, every little input will disconnect that autopilot, even if it's just sitting there and has a little bit of a alignment issue. So I'm just going to leave it off. You can actually calibrate it here. You see my roll is slightly off. Talk about roll. Aircraft config. Where is it? Global units. You can change a lot of stuff here as well. Chocks on startup engine. No run. Yeah, just play with it. You got to figure all this stuff out yourself. I'm just showing a quick flight, really. Anything else? No, I'm gonna leave it there. Back and home. So align. That's a good point. I need to align my IRUs because these are not aligned from to begin with. And you can switch this switch to heading system. Come on, there. This is the time it needs to align. On DC. Oh, I'm still on. There you go. Try it now. With all that talking, I forgot to switch on ground power. That was the whole reason I was here. So this is the time it takes to align if you switch this to heading system. But to align it, you have to actually input a position. It says nav data out of date. I don't know if there is a way to update that or to delete it. I don't know. For now, I'm just going to clear the message and just use whatever's in there right now. Here is your date, and that is the only one that's in it out of 2016. So good luck with that. I'm going to go to position initialization, and the last position cannot be trusted in this because you could be in another airport, or you ended up in another airport that you are taken off from or whatever. So you go to next page and you find your GPS locations, and this is a godsend. Long time ago, GPS was not available on these planes, and you actually had to figure out your lat longs and or be lucky enough that the airline you flew with actually had the gate locations installed in here. So you could actually do your locations here and it would pull up the correct positions. But in this case, all we're doing is we're pulling the GPS location to your scratch pad and you enter it right there. And this way it will align. You forget that, it won't align. 6 minutes, so we got some time. These are your leading edge devices, by the way. This is, it's called your Christmas tree. And if I move flaps down, which I can't do right now because I don't have hydraulics on, so let's do that. Hydraulics are running. As you can see, they're all in transit now. These are your leading edges, and they're now the inboards are now fully extended and the outboards are partially extended. If I go to 10 and I just switched it to 10, I believe. There you go. The outboards go to fully extended, but that's not where I want them. I want them at 5. So that is your leading edge indication, and this is your trailing edge indication. Okay. Since the IAUs are aligning, the yaw damper should. There it goes. I want fuel pumps. Only the wings. And I think we're going to start APU. Go through all the switches, turn on your emergency exit lights to armed. These should stay normal. Do a bit of right. Turn on window heat and your probe heat. Pumps are running. Look light, anti-collision light. We don't have bleed air available yet, so let's start my DAPU. Left I got greens, right I got greens, and this is the way these work. You let go of the switch, they return to the center. There you go. And same with this one, to left. I don't know why it... Oh, there comes the bell. You know, this is strange. Before the bell didn't work. I don't know if I changed something or whatever. It works now. So let's start APU. So this is how it really works. You're waiting a little while. Right now the inlet door is opening. As I said on the other plane, those are the fastest starting APUs ever, because it really does take quite a bit. There it goes. Got my EGT rising. The low oil pressure light should be off by now, but can't have everything. Can't have all the details perfectly correct, right? Okay. So any second now we have ground power or APU generator available. There's one, there's two. Alright. Which means we can remove ground power. And it's disconnected. Let's file a flight plan. Same thing, KSEA, KPAE, 9,000 feet and 1,800 feet minute going down. We'll stick to the same orange 99 and we file the flight plan.
Seattle Tacoma INTL delivery, good morning. Orange 9er request IFR clearance to Painfield, Snohomish County is filed.
Give me my clearance. Okay, I will start setting these.
Orange 9er, cleared to Painfield, Snohomish County via runway 16 left departure. Initial altitude flight level 9er. Squawk 2731.
And 9,000. 2731. 2. No.
Cleared to Kilo Papa Alpha Echo via runway 16 left departure.
3, 1.
Initial altitude flight level 9er. Squawk 2731, Orange 9er.
And we switch that to TARA, Traffic Advisory,
Orange
Resolution
9er.
Advisory.
Read back
It makes
correct.
sure that
Contact ground on
if
121
another plane is
70 when ready
heading
for
towards me,
startup.
we
Set
steer
the
away from each
transponder
other.
Code 2731 as instructed.
The RUs just aligned. As you can see, the artificial horizons appeared. And we are ready to move. You cannot move the plane until the RUs are aligned. If you move the plane before the RUs are aligned, they will fail because you're aligning them to a position, and if you leave that position, they will pretty much say, try to figure it out yourself. Let's see. So we have APU running, bleed air. We're gonna need bleed air, and I think then we're ready for pushback. Turn on bleed air, switch it to auto. We will not turn off on the air condition packs yet. If you turn them on, the APU won't be able to supply all the air for both the packs and starting the engines. I haven't tried it yet in the game. You know, it might just do just fine in the game, but if you do play on a realistic setting, you know, you want to keep it realistic. So we are ready to go. Better pushback. And are we ready? Yes. No, we are not. We want ground.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Seattle Tacoma INTL ground, Orange 9er, request start up and pushback. Orange 9er, start up and pushback approved.
Awesome. Here comes our tow truck. It's a nice little lifter. They're pretty much everywhere now. And you'll see, are they open already or not? I think they are.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
This beta pushback program, I will put all the links of all the plugins in the description. It is fantastic. It's very realistic. I do enjoy watching something like this. As you can see, pedals on the back grab the nose wheels and it'll squeeze them tight and then lift up the nose. And from then on, this is basically my pivot point right there. Or well, the pivot point is between my main gears, but this is where
So connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
alright, parking brake released.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Alright, I may start engines. You heard them. Are we moving? Yeah, we are. Okay. And we're starting with number 2. We got bleed air. Number 2. Engine, the ignition, by the way, I messed it up last time, I think. So I think it depends on airliners, but the airline I worked for, they would do one flight in with the switch in right and another flight in left. That way they would test each every time they started an engine. If it didn't work, they could always switch to the other and then fly with the other system on the minimum equipment list. Okay, we have high enough. And 2. We got fuel flow. As you can see, this actually has oil pressure, this plane. And the start valve should have dropped off already. I swear to God, it's I think it's 46% or so N2, where the start valve actually, or the switch actually springs back to auto. So we'll do number 1. Start valve open. We have N2. We have rotation, not yet. Rotation on N1 right there. We have oil pressure. And cocoa juice. Fuel flow, EGT. %.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Parking brake. That's awesome. So
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
we ended up exactly where we wanted it to end up. It's a beautiful thing. Now he'll disconnect, and there's something else that's fun about better pushback is he'll move to the side and then give me hand signals. There you go, disconnect and hand signals. In the meantime, I'll switch to engine, generators. I'll turn on my packs to auto. Pressurization control.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal will be on the right. We'll see you next time and have a great flight.
Hand signal on the right. We'll go flight altitude of 9,000. And there he goes. This is an ugly dude, but he knows his job. Look at him. But he shows the bypass pin, and he gives me pretty much the okay to go. The bypass pin stops the nose gear from being in a hydraulic lock, and it makes the nose wheel steering available for him to turn the nose wheel. Okay. We want a landing altitude. For that we go here. And if we click on KPAE and go to details, it'll show you 604 feet. And 600 feet is good enough. 600 feet. And engines are running, so we can... we have to do a bleed light right now. Let me just switch the AP bleed air off and make that go away. Right now, if I press this 6-back, this switch, there's another one on the other side with different words on it. These are your P5 overhead panel cautions, and your master caution. This does not have master warning, by the way. This is a fire warning, the red one. But if there is any master or caution light up on the P5 panel, either one of those will light up and your master caution will light up, and I can show you that. If I turn on my AP bleed air, I have a dual bleed right here, and as you can see I have an air conditioning caution, and my master caution is on as well. I can cancel that, but if I then press the 6-back again, it'll come back. It's a recall feature. So if you do happen to have a master caution come on, you'll have to look at what word pops up, and that is the panel you gotta look at for the problem that is presenting itself. Okay. Since I jabbered on quite a bit,
Start up and pushback approved. Orange 9er.
see, Since I do jabber on quite a bit, I need to do a quick check of everything to make sure I didn't forget anything. We'll turn on the lights. Logo is on, and good to go. Chimes only. I love that. This used to be the no smoking sign switch. Put those to auto, and they work off the flaps. Flap anywhere not in up means that the plane is either in takeoff or in landing, so it'll automatically turn on your fasten seatbelt lights as soon as you start moving the flaps, basically. Let's see, anything else? We got the window heat, the hydraulics, and we have this set, the pressurization control set. We have bleed air, we have the packs in auto. Do we have trim air on? Yeah, we do. That provides hot air for temperature control. And I think we are good to go. Oh, wait. Very important. Let me see where that is. If I go to settings and features, is it hardware config or is it aircraft config, I believe? See, I won't go to number 2. Is it? Oh, there it is. Here you go. Nose wheel axis. On yaw roll VR. If I put it on roll, I actually set it to one of my buttons in on my joystick, because if I use the rudder, it will only turn the nose wheels about 7 degrees left or right, which they did to not have to use the tiller, the nose wheel steering tiller, because the tiller makes too much of an input as you're landing or taking off. At those speeds, you just want very minimal input, and you want to be able to control it with your feet, with your rudder. But it's only a 7 degree input left and right. So what I did is I made sure that the roll controls the nose wheel steering now. And if you don't know that, you'll be making very, very slow turns. Alright, let's request taxi.
Orange 9er is ready for taxi. Orange 9er, taxi to runway 16 left. Contact tower on 119.9 when on holding point. Taxi to runway 16 left. Contact tower on 119.9 when on holding point, Orange 9er. Orange 9er, contact tower on 119.9, have a nice flight.
Okay, that's the holding point.
Contact tower on 119.9, Orange 9er.
I'll go to the tower. Okay, let's set the MCP, the autopilot. This should set, and it doesn't. I don't know what it is. I don't know whether this is because they want you to fly the plane on the FMC, but also the autopilot. Let me turn on the flight directors. You can in real life turn on your autopilot on the ground, and you can't do that here. So I don't know why you couldn't. We used to do it all the time, actually, during taxiing. When you're taxiing around, it would follow your heading indication. It would try to steer, even though obviously we were rolling around on the ground. So heading 160, speed 200. I'm going to set everything, and fortunately I can set or turn these on already. So my heading and my vertical speed is already set, and then as I go into the air, I'll turn on everything else. So my lights are on. Yeah. RTO. There you go. There it is.
Seattle Tacoma INTL Tower, good morning, Orange 9er on holding point of runway 16 left, ready for departure. 1957 knots, runway 16 left, cleared for takeoff. Cleared for takeoff runway 16 left, Orange 9er.
I apologize, that was a bit of a bad position to do that, but I just stopped the recording and started it again, just to have a point where I can either redo or restart the flight, or and I also want to be able to do this in 2 files, because this eats quite a bit of my computer, these recordings. So but they have given me clearance to take off, so I'm gonna go for it. Nice. And now for the beautiful sound. That's a beautiful soundtrack, isn't it? Should have turned on some lighting on the
80 knots.
panel. It's a little dim. And here we go. You're up. Come on.
Orange 9er, QNH 101 tree. Contact Seattle Center on 127.05.
1000.
QNH 101 tree. Contact Seattle Center on 127.05. Goodbye, Orange 9er. Seattle Center, good morning, Orange 9er passing 1,700 feet.
Bring the flaps up.
Climbing flight level 90. Orange 9er, turn left heading tree 49er, climb to flight level 90. Turn left heading tree 49er, climb to flight level 90, Orange 9er.
Beauty. Right, so this is a lot like the classic 737 of the vanilla installation. Most of this flight will be, but as you can see, everything works out just fine. It's a smooth flight. Again, the 124th ATC does not crash at this location, at this position, which I'm really stoked about. Switch this to off. Oh yeah, landing gear. If the handle is in the up position, the landing gear is actually pressurized. It's pressurized in the up position, which makes sense, but you actually put the handle in the off position where it removes the pressure, and now the landing gear is hanging on a couple of rollers. That just removes all that pressure in the wheel wells on that gear. I should be seeing Boeing Field at some point. Beautiful turn, which is right there, Boeing Field. That is SeaTac. Okay. So we're in our climb. Flaps are up. The brakes are back to off. At this point we have to do a after takeoff checklist, and looks good to me. Yeah, and the checklists are here. There's actually right here somewhere are the checklists right there. So if you do want to use checklists, go ahead, be my guest. And again, I don't know how to get to the next pages. Oh, is this it? Oh, that's the on-off button. No, it doesn't do it. Yeah, that's just the on-off button. I'm sure I'm forgetting something somewhere, or I'm doing something wrong.
Orange 9er, expect runway 16 right. Expect runway 16 right, Orange 9er. Orange 9er, maintain flight level 80. Flight level 80, Orange 9er.
Why do I have a fuel?
That's to go.
I have a fuel warning here, or fuel caution. I do not see anything lit up. I have plenty of fuel left for that tiny little flight that I'm doing. I wonder if I got a temporary pressure light or something. Well, we'll see. We have plenty of fuel to get there. Seattle, downtown Seattle. There's the harbor. Can we see the Space Needle? There it is. Very pretty. A little hazy. Okay. So it wanted us to go right back down to 8,000, and it might actually. It didn't give me an unscheduled descent. I did that last time because I never got to 9,000 during the climb, so it gave me an unscheduled descent. That doesn't matter. I mean, it's something you can ignore, but just little quirks. So the Zibo Mod 737. This is the point where we are flying for about 5 minutes without having to do anything, so might as well talk about it. It is absolutely gorgeous. Just the little quirks every now and then. The attitude should be able to. I should be able to switch these to attitude, and they should stay there. It doesn't do it, but that's fine. I mean, everybody flies them. It's like a emergency. If you have nothing else, at least you have your attitude indications right here. So it's not something that ever comes up, obviously, in the flight simulator. Other than that, I just have very little negative to say. It takes a while to get used to it. I have actually flown this plane 3 times now to Painfield, and every time it did a beautiful landing, but every time I'm learning something else. Every time it gets better, because I learned how to operate it correctly, basically. Last time I actually looked to the left and I saw that tablet. Oh, I'm way back. I saw that tablet and it just smacked me in my face that all the things that I was missing, like the pushback didn't work out right, and a lot of the ground service, the ground power, I couldn't get ground power to work. It's all here.
Orange 9er, turn left heading tree 9er for Stilly.
339er.
Turn left heading tree 9er, orange 9er.
Alright. So now we're at kind of a point where I want to slow down a bit because they will call for a lower altitude, and I usually speed up going down, so the stab trim wheels really do make that much noise. You're sitting in that flight deck and it just keeps going. It's quite a thing. There are handles that you can like or pull out, and if that thing starts rotating at full speed and those handles are out, say goodbye to your knees. Okay, so we are just about at a point. We still have about a minute to go before we have to come down. I can really recommend this plane. The best thing about it is that the Autoland feature of this
Orange 9er,
is fantastic.
Descend flight level tree 6. Flight level tree 6, orange 9er.
And you will see how fantastic it is in a few minutes. 3.6, and my speed is increasing, so I'm going to lower my leaders, and you could hear the ding. As I promised, as soon as those flaps come down, the fasten seat belts come on, or the fasten seat belt lights come on. The speed tape also shows your barber poles, your overspeed and your stall speed strips, which is really nice if you aren't sure at what position or at what speed you have to be for certain flap positions. As you can see, switching to 190 was the right thing to do. The speed stays under 200, otherwise she'll start yelling at me. And we'll go to flaps 5. As I am already past. And let's see, where is Stilly? It's up here. Okay. And as last time, this is going to be a long approach. I already have 109.3 on the nav, active on the navs. I already have the course set 164. I will show that again real quick.
1,000 to go.
If I right click on the ILS or the localizer, it will actually tell me course is 164. And I'm leveling off. I'll lower my speed brakes, or I'll forget them. start slowing down the plane even more. As you can see, as my flaps come down, so does the overspeed tape. In the olden days it was a barber pole, but it pretty much calculated your overspeed on altitude and didn't care about flap settings. These new displays, fantastic. You can show whatever you want on them. It's not complicated. All it is a software change and you have whatever you want on them. And the displays are not these giant tubes like they used to be. They used to be about 2 feet long and just really heavy and slide in there. These are simple. They're still big for LCDs. Your monitor, the one you're looking at right now, is about a quarter the thickness of what these things are. But still, it's awesome. They are awesome screens. Okay. I'll slow it down a bit more. Anytime now that will bring me in a left turn. Yeah, we're over Barkle, so Stilly almost. As you can see, we're right in between.
Turn left heading 211. Cleared for ILS approach runway 16 right. Contact tower on 120.2 when established. 5. Turn left heading 211. Cleared for ILS approach runway 16 right. Contact tower on 120.2 when established. Goodbye, Orange 9er.
Okay, so the localizer is already visible. Glide slope not yet. That's because we're heading the wrong way. And I'm gonna wait until we are out of this turn, and you can see here what the course is set to. And once I'm out of it, there's the glide slope. I'm gonna hit my approach. It's a beautiful thing. So I'm gonna hit my approach button. That way it'll capture the localizer and the glide slope. I can see the runway right there in the distance. Alright, so let's do a quick check. So I got my approach and I got glide slope or localizer capture right here. It shows right there via our localizer, and glide slope is pretty much armed. That's what that means. And now that I am in approach, I turn on my second autopilot. My second autopilot channel. For a beautiful land 3 or category 3 landing. Okay. Well, flaps full down. As you can see, 140 is right smack in the middle of the noise. Basically, this makes noise and that makes noise. We want to not make noise. This is the clacker. That's the stick shaker, which is basically just it works a bit like your phone. It's just a big version of your phone. There's like a little electric motor on the yoke, on the steering column, with a weight, and that weight just gets flung around and it just shakes your yoke around. I can see the glide slope coming down. Let's set 2. I'll wait for glide slope capture and I'll lower my gear. Oh, tower. Yes, let
Painfield, Snohomish County Tower. Good morning. Orange 9er approaching runway 16 right.
since we do
Orange 9er identified. Continue your approach.
I will do that. So since we do have established our since we are established on the ILS, might as well call. There goes glide slope capture, and gear down. Three greens. And now that long landing wall. Okay. Is there anything that I need to look at? I got flaps 40. I got my auto brakes at 2. Gear is down and locked. Yes, I have noticed that the approach light goes out. We are still in approach. Command light is on, VR localizer glide slope. For some reason the approach light goes out right at approach. Both autopilots are still engaged, so we are good to go. It just is awkward. It's just weird that this that the light is out. Okay, but we're going. So it'll call it about 2500. And at some point, when it decides we are good to go, it checks for all systems go basically. It'll tell me land 3, which means from then on it will be a category 3 landing, and it won't change anymore.
2500.
It is set. Very nice. Actually printed a map of the airport. That way I can sort of mark it. These maps are available everywhere for free. I mean, you just Google them and KPAE map or something, and you can download the PDF. Helps tremendously. I believe actually you can also have a map here in Avitep Airport, KPAE. This is just information, ILS, okay. Probably here. Yeah, you can zoom in and everything, I think. I don't know, I shouldn't have touched it. We're trying to land. What am I doing? Okay, so 1500 feet.
Orange 9er, wind 1957 knots, runway 16 right, cleared to land. Cleared to land runway 16
Land 3,
right.
right there.
Orange
We
9er,
just decided we're good to go. So rollout and flare are armed. Yes, this does a flare, and it does it really well. Really, really well. I just don't have to touch anything, and this landing is going to be beautiful.
1000.
1,000 feet, stabilized, Mr. Burchell, suit set.
And after landing, you should
500.
you should listen to the PA in the back.
400.
Okay, handle the throttle because I want to
300.
use my thrust reversers.
200. 100.
Quite slow.
Flare.
40, 30, 20, 10.
Ah, look at that gorgeous landing. Just magnificent.
Orange 9er, contact ground on 121.8. Bye.
That done.
Contact ground on 121.8. Orange 9er, bye.
I'm gonna stand still before I go to ground. Meantime, the passengers are getting a speech in the back. This should have switched off by itself when I moved the throttles forward again. So I don't know why that didn't. Let's kill the autopilot. There we go. Yeah, we're here. Ground. Let's see where we need to go.
Snohomish County ground. Good morning. Orange 9er on runway 16 right.
It's always somewhere else.
Orange 9er, taxi to parking Boeing Delivery Center 1.
Oh, I know where that is. I don't need no map for that.
Taxi to parking Boeing Delivery Center 1. Orange 9er.
Oh, hush. Move the flaps up. I'm moving my throttles too far forward. It thinks I want to take off, and I'm not in a takeoff configuration. Right. So here to the right is the flight line. Take a left turn here. As I said before, these are not the planes that are currently here, especially not the 400s, the 747-400s. Some of the 777s though are there. The delivery center is not a stall you can actually taxi into, but the game doesn't know that. That is the delivery center, and that's the left one should be number 1. And there are actually gates there, so I'm so far off to the left. Let's see if I can get it lined up this time. I tend to have a hard time getting these things lined up properly. Alright, let's see how we're parked. We are a trailer. Oh, there. We're straight. Not on the line, but we're straight. Not too bad. I can go forward a little bit, but whatever. Okay, let's turn stuff off. So set parking brakes. Is my APU right there. I can do that. That way the packs stay running. Engines off. Let's see if we get a ground service or a GPU. There it is. Just to keep that right pack running. Okay, so this was my flight with the new 737. It's a fantastic the Zibo. It's a fantastic mod. It really is worth it. I need to play with it some more. The flight management system, I still need to learn it, and that is probably going to be my next flight is with the flight management system using this plane. So wish me luck on that one. It's going to take me some time to get used to it and to set it all up. Next time I won't go into detail as much as this time. Every flight I will basically just add a little bit more detail, and it's going to be more fun for me, I hope more interesting for you. So thank you very much for joining me. I can definitely recommend this mod. As I said, I will put all the links in the description. Enjoy your day. Goodbye.